Ready.
Good evening. Here we are again, with a pretty full agenda, so I want to get going and keep it moving. Okay, everybody here is a pretty regular visitor, and this is Jack Colburn, who is a very good gardener and pollinator plant enthusiast and landscaper. Thanks. And his pollinator garden, which is absolutely beautiful, is going to have its picture in our next newsletter. So I'm hoping he can pitch in on our discussion of our own pollinator garden. So first, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, and a second, any discussion? They're all in favor? Aye. Okay, terrific. Minutes done. So there was an EAC network conference and it was October 5th, was it? Way back when, ancient history. And Margaret and Carol went and they just want to give brief reports, just a minute or so. And they each have reports that they can submit for our end of year report. But just tell us a little bit about what
the agenda was walking around in the morning. We went early at 8 to course this, and then we had split up which presentations we would go to. So I chose 3, she chose 3, and we had the plenary session together. I did the groundwater resources, which actually was the Delaware River Basin, was probably the biggest chunk of that. And that really was very interesting. A lot of it I knew because I used to go to all their meetings down in Washington's Crossing. But one thing I did not realize is that this particular area is the Southeast Pennsylvania groundwater protected area. So our water sources here are overseen by the Delaware River Basin. And I guess it ties in with the pump. So and that was interesting. And then MS4 was later in that. The last one was just events planning for EACs, which had a lot of helpful information for setup and kind of checklist things. And then the other was electrification that I went to. And that was interesting, but it had a lot of solar was the most interesting part. If anybody wants to hear, I have all, I can send you the file. That one alone is 23 pages. So there's a lot of information, but they have a library too that you can access through MeetServe.
So the link to that 23-page report in their library would be a good thing for us to include somewhere maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. So
we can serve as such deep.
Conserve PA is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So at the plenary session, yes, they went over their handbook and different links that you can go to. One thing in the plenary, well, actually the lighting section, right after the plenary, that I found to be really interesting was the discussion on artificial grass.
And I put that in too, yeah.
And we do have the presentations, but regarding some of the regulations and because of the issues that communities are seeing with artificial turf. The planners, the breakout session that I went to first was on parking reform, and there were presentations by Upper Marion Township, which is basically King of Prussia area, and how over the years they just have so much surface parking, and they were trying to figure out ways that they can move forward with more green parking and structured parking. So their presentation was very good and had some suggestions for townships that might be in a situation that they want to look at their parking and how to do a parking reform study and some of the things you need to look at: peak periods, non-peak periods for parking, shared parking, those sorts of things. One word that they suggested changing in the community's zoning was, instead of saying there was a required minimum of spaces per whatever the zoning district was, whether it be a commercial retail or commercial office or sort of single family house or a townhouse or whatever, to just change that one word required to recommended. and let the developers come and have a discussion with the township or the borough about what, is practical for what they're bringing to the table, because let's face it, things have changed from what they were 20 years ago. Retail parking, for example, doesn't need nearly the amount that we used to need. So anyway.
That's interesting. That could be a double-edged sword, though. Because sometimes we use parking or lack thereof as our,
Shared.
but then say you have say Wawa wants to say, we'll go back to that, and the site's too small. And they can't provide enough parking, but they don't have a shared. And we say recommend, and then the door is open to negotiate. And if we don't have the ability, so I can see both sides of the coin. You have to look at from both sides. Sometimes we want that hammer and other times we don't.
I think the door is kind of open, but it's a shame that Mary Beth is not here. But I would think that there are things that you could do in the language, recommended and upon approval of the township's planning.
Well,
board
it's
or
worth
what have
having a
you.
brainstorming session on maybe.
Yeah, but
For the
each
next-
community.
For the next version of the Saldo amendments.
Because each community is gonna be different depending on what your needs are.
So it depends on how much commercial you actually have. And that, Upper Marion is shopping center city. So I think you get, discussion.
And this was really a company that was presenting about energy audits that could be done in municipal facilities. They actually had examples from Radnor Township, Springfield Township, Lansdowne Borough, and Upper Dublin Township. And each was unique, and they each went into their own detail about high-back systems and lighting controls and roofs that might be in a condition to implement some kind of solar energy, and the potential cost savings that could come from upgrades, not to mention the electrification, if they were able to use that in other places. And then the last one, which was a lot that we kind of know already, but rethinking lawns, a shift to meadows, and how different communities, this is mostly in Montgomery County, have done meadow projects. New Hanover Township was one that presented. There was a presentation on meadow creation and maintenance by Ernst Seeds. They do a lot of wildflower mixes and so forth, native. And there was also by Lansdale Borough, I think it was. But the thing that I really didn't realize with regard to meadows is really it's a multi-year process to really create a meadow.
Yes, many years.
And there's, putting down black plastic first, and then, trimming and what do they call it? The disc. I'm not a farmer, but tilling and disking and treating problem weeds, treating those with herbicides, but selectively, and pulling smaller weeds and so forth. So really to get something that is a meadow with wildflowers doesn't just happen magically by mowing the lawn and letting it go away. You really need to tend it, and there's a process. So that's basically what I attended without going into too much detail.
That's one of the reasons why for us, I kind of, at least for now, I'm shying away from meadows.
Oh, meadows are a lot of.
There are,
Aren't they?
yeah, they are, and they don't always really succeed. I want to see how Heritage does with some of the meadows that they've done, because they're struggling. So we'll see. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a great
It was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day.
A lot of information.
Yeah, and we'll find ways, maybe when we get a new website, I'm not pushing you, but when it happens, we can have links and stuff and, you know,
Yeah.
put some information. It's frustrating to have these things and then just put it in a file.
We have a developer on Friday. Our goal is probably roll it out in the beginning of the year.
Presentation, like you would be.
Yeah, I'll look into them, but I'm pretty sure that they're available to us, so we can, I'll check. Yeah.
There's a lot
Okay.
of ADU we can get.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, a big guy coming up, the proposal for the demonstration pollinator garden. You got this, right?
I did.
Good, good. My first question is, should this be addressed to you?
That's fine.
Because we'd like to discuss, but because we want to get our board down, we're able to do this, would have to be sooner rather than later. And the next Board of Supervisors meeting is the 18th, right? So, you know, we want to keep moving. All right, so I think everybody has read it, and what we need to do if we want to get this in front of the Board of Supervisors is pass our proposal, which means we want to make any changes that we think we need to make tonight. We can amend it right now. And I can even do it right on the iPad. But I'm better off just using my pencil and doing it in. So spitball, what do you want to do here? To tweak this? Or what do you think of it in general? The public is welcome to pitch.
Do you want to kind of explain where it is, where we're proposing it might be?
I think everybody knows, right? It's right down there in North Branch Park where that second pavilion is and the gravel driveway is across from it. And there's a strip of ground in between those two things. And a group of us went and kind of wandered around North Branch and said, this looks pretty good. It's plenty big enough. It looks like it will be in an area where water will flow through if it ever rains. It is, the public cannot not see it. Because as soon as you park in that parking lot, it's going to be in front of you. And you have to walk past it to get to the ball fields. And if you're sitting in the pavilion, you're looking at it. So it's right there. And if we do it right and keep it watered.
Well,
it'll be
it's
beautiful.
adjacent to the swale. There's already an
Yeah.
existing swale.
Right, yeah, it can't touch the swale.
No,
The
no,
mowers
you
have to
need,
get
you
it,
have
but it's
to,
right
and I
there.
think you might need feet. I think you put 5 feet.
We're gonna
There.
talk with Ryan.
Okay,
and
good.
He's going to, and Bill May too, I was told, run it past Bill May.
Before you bring it to the board?
Yes,
So, okay.
make sense?
Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. Just remember Monday's a holiday for us. It's Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to have this by Wednesday to get in the packet.
They're the kinds of constraints that we are working with all the time. No, it's that the Board of Supervisors has to pass something before we can do it. We need to get it planned, we need to get it passed far enough advance of the next Board of Supervisors meeting in order to get it on the website and into their packet. So that's why I'm looking to ask for any input that we have, any changes we want to make. I'm sorry, I got distracted by something. Tonight, so we can pass this.
So you decided on a species list?
Oh, did I not send this? I sent it to the whole group and you missed it.
Okay,
So
so there are no decisions. Yeah, so you decided kind of a mulch, a specimen planting rather than cottage, English cottage, meadow, garden, so it'll be more obviously by design than a public meadow.
Not a pocket meadow. If you want to look at the species list,
No, it's fine. I
okay.
heard it very shit.
I don't,
Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah.
And you mentioned there was some design is set. What kind of input are you looking for?
Well,
It's a rectangle.
yeah, except we're
It's not that, it's not
It's
that
not very
large a space, 8 feet by 16 feet, which is very small. But we could probably in the future, if it's successful, perhaps we could enlarge it. If we're looking at a site that's bone dry,
Yeah.
trying to anticipate when that swale fills with water, what happens to this? So basically it's the layered, so we're gonna start with the cardboard, and we're gonna put mulch on it, let it sit for the winter. And then go at it in the spring.
So, but plantings that are spaced enough that the public, so it's an education garden, so that the public can identify the different species. Personally, I love the cottage where everything
Yeah.
runs together,
No polka dots.
but we'll have groupings. And,
Same.
Okay.
Sarah has her hand.
Are you having a path? Are they supposed to enter? this space?
No.
Just do it from outside.
View from outside.
Yeah.
They can
It's
walk
too small.
entirely.
It's too small
Yeah.
to walk through, but you can, yeah.
Us.
We are trying to do this almost
Right.
for free.
Who's looking to?
We're in their space.
Yeah, other than.
We're taking up lawn. I think that's the issue, the mowing,
The mowers will go around it.
right? Everybody worries. about
And you have to talk to Bill and Ryan.
it.
First of all, you have to see if the site does get water. And if it gets too much water. Hmm?
There's, there's a line from the hill.
You just need to talk to them and get their, to sign off on the location. And to give you any feedback on it. It's critical.
If- If they have an issue with it, the swale is existing and it could certainly use. Any- You want to do the garden first? Yeah, okay, I'm just saying, if they
Yeah.
say it's not gonna work.
We could always move the garden.
Right,
It's not the only place.
okay,
I think well, points for any circumstance, I mean, to bring drought tolerant natives and there's ones that love water. So I feel like as long as the species list flexible, there's not really a set of conditions that.
it's just over.
I just know that the board will say, have you run this by? And if they say no, then they'll say, well, go do that and then come back.
I was already. Find
I know, I know. I'm just putting that out there for everybody else's edification.
There's something that's broken. Our species list is too long. We can't plant full. In 16 by 8. And it's not gonna be a perfect rectangle. We'll mess with the edges.
Can we get a
Yeah. I don't know how they have to mow around.
They do have to mow around that, so that'll be a negotiation. I don't think they'd want to mow around the rectangle anyway. Yeah. Did you want to say something, Jack?
great thing for stuff, but you know, positive impact for biodiversity. Native plants are deep rooted, so I mean they have major water runoff advantages, soil microbial advantages. So I mean there's all kinds of pollinator and sorts of species that are hurting and would benefit from it. So I mean it's pretty small in scale, but hopefully it can have a ripple effect by encouraging other people to do the same. And if it's successful, then I think broaden the area and reduce the open space. Not to mention just psychological impacts. I think people really benefit from the beauty of gardens and the immersion in these kind of spaces. I mean, again, this to me is like buying like a little floor sample at Home Depot that looks like a coaster, but it's it's a place to start. So I think it's a good thing. So it's going to be small, but I think it'll be encouraging and hopefully good enough throughput through here that people get to see it and enjoy it.
And part of the idea is they can recognize a few plants that they can then try
Yeah, for sure.
and get people to start putting native plants, because that's about all that is so big, that.
Yeah, and a big win for native plants. I mean, they are designed to thrive. So I mean, it's actually just gardening in alignment rather than trying to, put things where they may or may not belong. So I think, home gardening perspective, greater success from that standpoint as well. One vote for not separating things so much. I think that actually would reduce the maintenance. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
a big fan of densely planted gardens because it's not a lot of opportunistic heat pressure to start to get created there. So, I mean, I think within the bounds of making it look very intentional, I think it's great if plants touch, it's not a.
Yeah, that's true. I like that way too. Just, we want to label as long as there's enough.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Can you ask them to what they use on the lawns? Like, do they spray? Do they?
they do spray
If,
those.
if,
That
it
turf
can be a
management.
trap.
Turf management.
And we keep them away from that area.
Have to talk to Bill and Ryan.
It's another.
Yeah.
Questions. Okay, you don't want to be in a trap.
Because that can
Like,
then luring pollinators to their deaths.
Right, if you put it in the middle, so yeah.
Come
If that's the case, I think then we need to do that.
Yeah. That would be maybe one of the easiest places for them to skip. How
Yeah,
do they
that's
put
true.
it down? Is it something that would drift? Like, do they spray so that you've got cloud and stuff that's gonna drift?
There's a couple of different applications that are done through the year.
Oh,
There-
that's right.
there's- Yeah,
So if they spray with little water droplets, sort of with droplets. This would be a place where I would think they wouldn't mind skipping this strip. Because it runs between a hill with rocks and swale. Gosh,
Honestly, I'm not sure how much that they actually would be
doing that strip
doing
anyway.
that strip. Having lived here for 30 years, what I have observed is primarily the ball fields that.
Yes, I know that,
well, fields and surrounds.
but this is far enough away.
This is
Yeah,
between, yeah.
Just
I will.
check it off the list.
There's also a water source by that pavilion. It's not for us to use. However, the township could use it to fill the rain barrel that we want to have there. And down the years, maybe something more could happen. Something more convenient could happen. We'll see. But it has to stay small for one thing, not only because we're just brand new and we need to start somehow, somewhere. But we don't have a budget. We have no money. So we have to try to do things for nothing. However, there is one aspect of this that cannot be done for free. And that is, if it's going to have any educational value, it needs to be done. And it turns out that these signs are really expensive. $500 is actually standard.
It was a little over 500.
Yeah.
On a piece salary. That's kind enough to, the friends were gonna pay for it. But when they actually had the discussion, the county said we can cover that. I think because watershed stewards just saved them thousands of dollars by doing all that work.
Mhm.
So it was kind of, it was a thank you. It was a big thank you from the county.
So Lucy has found a funding source that has potential. It is not certainly definite. I've got an empty application form here. But that could put a dent in it, right?
Yeah, we asked for 250, 300, and that's next week.
And that's next week. So this has to be done very quickly. We don't need permission to put in a grant application for a few other thoughts.
No match required.
No match, very simple form, and it's the National Women's Farm and Garden Association, which does a lot of good work. Are you a member as well, Sarah? No? Okay,
You
all
know,
right. Are you?
yeah, I am, of course.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. 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 But that helps, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that'll be, yeah.
There'll be a lot of support. And Janine Mitchell, the other,
Okay,
she's a member. I don't know.
okay. Good. Good. So if we get this, for say 250 or 300,
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
It's the 5 yards of leaf mulch is about.
So
So there are costs, but we can try and get things donated.
we could get, so here we've been on this seesaw between undyed mulch from, for example, down Doylestown Township, which is happy to have somebody come up with a truck and take this mulch. We have experience with it, right?
Yeah.
And if we plant the plants with compost, like don't put them just in mulch, but dig a hole through the cardboard and take compost. You can tell me what you think about this, Chet, as well. People pitch in with opinions. That could work. I know that Ed Hockey succeeds with that. The other theory is that you need leaf mulch and that
You can plant directly into
you
the
can plant
mulch.
directly into it.
I'm
right?
sure what Doylestown had, I mean, we planted into it, so we know what it looks like.
Yeah,
We could go over and look at the compost and ask what they use. But I'm sure it's got leaves in it. Don't you think, Doris? I mean, I've seen the piles, I just haven't crawled through them.
Shredded. You know, it's leaf mulch.
It's a mix.
It's a mix.
It was, yeah, there were some wood chips in.
It seems pretty healthy. I've seen,
Exactly. It's very similar.
yeah,
Yes, that, the 300 is from Sparks. That's because I know, that's what I got. I know what the bill is.
apparently they do.
Yeah,
For example,
is that another question for Mr. Mays?
It's Ryan, but I think Ryan already told me that.
If you have a 5-yard truck, it's a small dump truck.
We don't need
That's
5
what we
yards
need.
of mulch.
Yeah, we do, because it's going to just, it's going to break down that cardboard, or if we ever get rain. Cardboard will break down and the leaves will disappear. It'll be nice. The only thing that will be left.
Okay, we will have to negotiate further.
Okay.
Well, it's just, if we want to have at planting time, 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches, but 4 inches of this material. How much do we need to put down? Less than 2 yards will cover fresh 16 by 8. Am I doing my math right?
But we're
I
working with
crunched it a
compressed, we're
couple
working with
times.
compressed soil.
So you see, this is, we've been going back and forth on it. Definitely.
It's such a small area, to be honest, if this meeting was too compressed to meet it. We basically scrub the sod out of the area and Showtime do it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not glorious, but trust me, I'm not all fan for smother and go, but I don't know that you need 4 inches at any time.
Well, you're not digging into that soil. I mean, if you go out and look at it, it's been driven over.
Oh, not now,
But
but
well-
after it sits.
If it's any help, I have an auger, for example, you know,
That
mind
would help.
bringing it. But I mean, I don't think it would be necessary, but. I'm happy to-
We have a couple of those too.
Yeah, to loosen the sword.
We have a big Troy built rototiller that we could probably walk from across the street. It would be kind of weird, but it is a monster.
So the point of the township is that people can make this happen without, they just need to say, go for it.
Yes.
They just need permission.
We need
Absolutely.
permission. We would like to have a contribution for the sign.
And that will work out.
The rest will work out. The only other cost that could come along, I don't know how much the fittings for the rain barrels are. Couldn't get that. Couldn't keep Joe focused long enough.
$60.
$60? Okay.
Is there a downspout on that building that we could have it just go into the building out there that we walked past?
Oh, that's too far away, I think. That shed, or
Yeah.
is it the shed? How far away is that
It
shed?
looks like an old snack bar.
I'm not sure exactly how far away it is.
These are details that I think can
work out.
simply, we can work out on our own after it's passed, right?
Yeah.
After the board says,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
We have a gallon watering system. Most of Worcester's doing is gonna be buying it as well. So there'll be a way to get township, even if the rain. Watering is something.
One way or another, we'll
One
get
way or
there.
another.
Well, we'll discuss the hose, that outlet and the hose a little bit more. It could be that we could make a deal where every so often they could monitor or something. Well, we could talk with Brian. All right, so what do I need to? Rather than buying pure leaf mulch, are you okay with going with the Doylestown mulch?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Maybe one other idea. Shelley's nursery is a small little nursery that sells leaf mulch. If you go pick it up, it's like $15 a yard. And I wonder, something like this, if they might be willing to drop it off economically. Give
I spoke to Mrs. Shelley last year. Yeah, she's interested in,
and helping things.
yeah. She's part owner in Free Will, I think, really.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. Interestingly,
Okay. All right, so what I have here right now, because we need to pass this, and once we pass it, this is what we need to hand in. This is why I'm trying to be a stickler. So what I have written down here is we ask that the township procure the mulch from a no cost source, perhaps Doylestown Township. We would prefer leaf mulch, but need a source. What if I change that to, and will, research a source? And that way I leave the door open,
I think this leaves the door open. I think they're,
but need a source, but. Well, I think it,
Ryan, who would-
But if
He
you
might-
that we asked that the township, because we need Brian to go get it in the truck.
yeah, we need the
We
township
need
truck.
them to do something for us. That's another thing. Procure the mulch from a no cost source.
Period.
Yeah, just leave it like that.
Not perhaps Doylestown
Yeah.
Township, just,
You can make that verbal.
Yeah, that sure is makes sense. But then
I think we need to be clear, the source identified by the EA. So that they have funded for us.
Oh, that's true.
yes, because we don't want die.
Yeah, when,
No, but what I'm saying is so
Yes.
that they don't have to be making phone.
Sure.
You'll identify the source, we'll get it.
And then you're saying don't include the sentence, we would prefer leaf mulch?
Yeah, I want to do that.
Because you're gonna identify the source. Right?
Logs donated by residents, if anybody else has logs to add to the pile I'm trying to collect, just like so. Anything in there, we'll line it with logs. rain barrel, we're getting that donated. Rain barrel fittings, $60. So we'll have to, we don't want to ask for money for a sign and for fittings.
I think you could hold off on the sun. Let's get the garden in first. Let's get the garden in
If
first.
people are willing to get us a sign, we should.
Why don't you just ask for $250 for miscellaneous costs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And add that to
That sounds
the
good.
other 250 if we get it.
Right.
Okay.
Just ask.
Just
They
ask.
can always say no.
Do I
right?
put it in here? Or do I
Yeah.
just add?
Yeah, no,
250.
Having replant our, 20 rain barrel kits for next year, so we can get you a rain barrel.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Did things fall from the sky?
You just have to ask.
I'm always asking, so I'm trying not to overstate.
these asks are small compared to some of the ones I get.
I think that this township is going to be fine with us massaging our species list as we go. This is a perfect example.
We don't really have anything to do with it once we approve it. I'll be perfectly honest.
Substitution, maybe,
Well,
It's not together.
we didn't think it's native,
Yeah,
plants. And I mean, we can do labor.
well, yeah, what I have right now is potential species list. And then we cannot plant all these species due to space limitations and availability. You think that covers it?
Yeah.
I didn't take that sentence out.
Well, I mean, Chet was just saying, put a contingency in, right?
Well, what's available? That it can be substitutions can be made.
Essentially,
Okay, truth be told, we're not really gonna know what's going in there unless you're putting like marijuana plants in, then we'll.
I won't even include species.
You don't have to, no, you can just. Yeah. That's it.
Can be small, inexpensive. And okay. All right. Does anybody have any, things to say about the first page, the timeline, the purpose? Are we all good with that?
Yep.
Good.
Okay. All right.
It's not really a big thing, but I wonder if you want to discuss the logs, like if that makes it easier or harder to mow around. I mean, that just an inch border is also, I mean, I like the idea, it's cool, but it is a little more laborious. And tough to bring the weed whack around, and so on, so.
Yeah.
Even just a spade edge, I mean, you can run a mower deck right over that, no weed whacking involved, nothing like that.
You'd be surprised how good, you'd be surprised how good our guys are. I watch them every day out there cutting that. They go around the infields. Yeah, they cut those things like there's no tomorrow.
I trust you.
Yeah.
They come out and
They are skilled with it, equipment, believe me. You've seen it, right? It's amazing how fast they go.
just in a,
Well,
Because then we
the logs, the idea of the logs is that they would be inside our mulch. And another.
yeah, which, and it just that the mower would have, I don't think they're gonna be weed whacked.
No, that's not gonna happen. That, we get pushback on that, that's,
Yes, you will.
I have a little bit.
oh, no, we're gonna be water. But another thought that people had about the logs is that, it would show the intentionality of it.
It's part of the way I interpret it says it.
About the
That's right. Or
Yeah.
just cumbersome and I'm aware. Am I?
We can give them a try. The intentionality, so the concern, one of the concerns is, it's gonna be a new thing, and at first, we know, right, that the plants are gonna be little, and they're gonna have this mulch and this small plants, then that would be a signal that something's happening. The sign would then be, this is what's happening here.
Yeah, it's not a sandbox.
It's not a sandbox.
Yeah.
It's not for your dogs to go dig. Hopefully, people respect that. Okay. All right, yeah, I think we're good. And we'll fill this out. It's very simple. And get it to you.
Do you want a motion to send this to the board?
Yes, thank you. You're motioning? I'll motion. Second. Okay. And we already had discussion. So all in favor? All right, and that unanimously approved. All right, we are gonna have a garden. Is that what you were gonna say? Lucy, you were saying?
Ice in a peanut gallery. I understand, keep it going.
Okay. Okay. So now. You remember the grant, the giant grant application? And we didn't get it, and we had a plan. Well, it turns out that we don't even have to ask for things just come to us, right? Trees have fallen from the skies. Of all different sizes, all nice native species, we can do that planting. And the Chamonix Watershed Association has protection for the trees. All we need to do is get them in the ground. By the end of November. So we're gonna need.
Before the ground freezes.
Before the ground freezes.
January.
Yeah. So we can keep our eye next week. But I would like to know from you guys, what would work for you? The weekends are packed with tree plantings through the 17th. And maybe anything beyond that, Ken, that you know of?
I'm gonna.
Okay, so through the 17th. We could go for the next week.
I'm gorilla planting, what I have to do. I'm not even gonna ask people because it's so dry. I'm waiting for rain.
Well, we've got orders.
Yeah, but
So-
even the auger.
I think the orders will work. We'll make them work.
I think we're.
So the planting is simple. We're figuring it could be between 50, 80 trees. Pre-ordered holes.
Where?
Across the street. Pine Run Creek is right across the street. And, it's the creek that then kind of gets this area wet. The riparian buffer needs some work, and there are a couple basins on the other side of the beat up path that's there that also can use some work.
Yeah.
And it's an area that the township was interested in having remediated anyway. So there's another, we're kids said, make a note, we're doing you a favor. We're helping your buffer. Getting these nice trees in there. But is there a time, should we try for a weekend after the 17th? Or do people think that late afternoon on a weekday, we're losing light now? Could work. Is anybody willing to plant some trees? Yes, 1, 2, 3.
No, we didn't want that weekend. Well, it's gonna be wet. Oh, that's solid. During the week.
Do you think the week
I think we would be able to get people out during. That's true, Wednesday is the watershed.
We can steal them from one of the.
You can take them from Peace Valley because, and that's the third Wednesday.
Okay, we'll steal your week, we'll steal your
You can
Wednesday.
have my week because, yeah, it's just, I've got a zillion other things going on, so. And I'll wind up doing the planning. That works.
So the Master Watershed
That's my schedule.
local group has a Wednesdays in the watershed.
Yeah.
And we rotate,
Yep.
Wednesdays in the watershed, and it goes from 10 to 12:30, flexibility there. And, we rotate among 4 locations. And one of the locations is Peace Valley Park, which is Carol's baby, and she just gave us her Wednesday.
Yep.
So the third
I can't be in
Wed-
2 places at one time, so it works out.
is
The
the
20th.
20th.
She just put
Okay.
it in minutes.
It's right before Thanksgiving, it's the 30th.
Thanksgiving.
So we're still 20 days.
So we've got a nice buffer there.
Can't do the 21st. No. That's when we're having the ribbon cutting for the Chamonix, the trail. Yep. It's been on Facebook, it's been on our website. The 21st at 3:00.
This season of worship usually goes from 10 to 12:30. I think we start at 9. But which would people prefer? You can make it 10 to 1 or 9 to noon or something like that.
Or just drop in. And we'll be there the whole time.
Yeah, that's.
You
We'll
and I
be
will
there.
get there and then we have to do setup. We can get things ready.
Okay. I'm going to say Pine Run Planting. I'm going to call it that.
Where are we doing this?
Apparently,
It's
it's
off the street, from here. There's, you'll see on that. The way to get at it is to go to the end of Forest, what's it called, Forest?
There's park drive, but there's not gonna be enough parking, so you gotta park in this parking.
Okay, and walk
Park here,
Walk across into the neighborhood and down to the
like
cul-de-sac.
the Bristol exit, like this
yes, the connector that was never built.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, for that.
forever.
Down to this end, of the development,
Yeah.
near the gas line.
You guys.
So follow the,
Follow me.
You better let me guess.
there's some orange paint.
Yeah. We're going
They
to,
fly at least once a week. Planes to check the gas line. No planes. Oh, they, at least once a week.
Because I'll take some from Tyler.
Figure out what we need.
I
You're
think
doing 2, yeah.
the closest is gonna be the cul-de-sac, so, you know, we have. That.
What's that? What's that?
Ones and twos.
You know,
They're there.
Mhm. And the ones from Heritage similarly.
And we are far enough away from the gas line that we don't need to notify them. Okay. So we're going to meet at 10 in this parking lot?
Yeah, we could just meet in this, well, but if people want to draw, if people aren't here right at time, one time they have to know where to come find us. Yeah. Boots, shovels. And whatever else you like to dig with. Bucket,
Gloves, don't forget
gloves.
gloves.
Yeah, that makes such a difference.
Oh my gosh.
Storing concrete.
Today went a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is gonna be quick. With enough people.
Well, some of Tyler's are like gallon pots,
That's
right?
right.
Some of Tyler's were gallons.
Sign up for. volunteer. I'll have her take it on. I'll have her.
Because I was supposed to.
Oh, you're on
And the location, is it close to any houses that we need to let people know when this band of people shows up? Planting that we should let them know? Ken? You,
In general, if we go to projects, we've always sent some notification well in advance. Doesn't seem to be time to do that. Here, in the riparian area, it's not close, I mean, it's well hidden from those houses, it's really that basin that is, there's a vista from those houses that might be interrupted in the long term, like in 30 years' time. So I don't know, that'd be the only variable that might be worth.
Did we agree on cages rather than tubes for these? So there won't be that problem of residents resisting tube farms,
Be a tube city.
Yeah.
It'd be just cages.
just cages, which are practically.
Visually, yeah, visually, that's what,
Yeah.
But that's not my, I think that's ultimately the township's call, what their policy is with respect to communicating. But any of the ones that we've done in the past, there's always been more lead time. to do
But
that.
something like Marshall Circle, you were right in the middle of a development there, that was good. Yeah. Whereas these houses aren't that close, the basins aren't in their faces,
Yes.
yeah. Does that sound okay to you, Dan?
Well, we're planning on walking it
Tomorrow
tomorrow.
with Ryan.
Okay,
Get his-
that'd be fine. Let us know.
Okay, so I'm gonna send a message to the whole EAC email group. And everybody here, reminding everybody that November 20th, I'm ready to dig. Not dig big, hard digging, they'll be auger, but you still need, and I also like to bring a knife, a garden knife to finesse edges, a good spade, a garden knife. But a shovel,
You'll have stuff there, like the last one.
Mhm.
what do you mean, like shovels and stuff? And try to
I mean,
bring
not
an extra
shovels.
shovel. Yeah,
As a trail. Coleman, which is the weekend before.
Mhm.
The 17th.
So it may be possible that trail is still available to our conservation district. That's got 50 doubles and
Saturday, we'll review water.
we're bringing rain barrels. Stay there.
They did me like today, but today we still have water road.
yeah, they had a wagon, buckets of water.
The day we plant them, there will not be water and
If there's no water in the,
the creek is dry and bone dry.
oh. So, we'll figure it out.
But the rain.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe.
Build rainbow.
Yes,
The teller gets through with how to go. As long as it's truck get.
we need to get the rain barrels in place
Fine.
with fittings.
Well, yeah, we can do the mechanism. Yes,
Okay.
the still water and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, I'll try to remember this tomorrow.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, because I forget. Okay.
Until you see the creek. Wait till you see it.
No, I believe it. Everything's,
All right. Are we good on that?
Mhm.
Okay, and that's all pre-approved
yes.
because of the giant grant. So now the next thing. A new grant possibility. And this is one that we were sent the information in a way that I wouldn't say it was an invitation to apply, but we would have a pretty good chance if we have a solid application. No promises, but a pretty good chance at getting. It is called Protect Your Drinking Water. It's a grant program, I'm reading here, being offered by Pennsylvania Environmental Council, meaning Paul Reset, a guy that we've already done business with. Remember? In partnership with funding from Aqua. This program provides, sorry, I know. Grants ranging from 2,500 to 10,000 for watershed protection and education projects that serve to protect the sources of public drinking water by addressing potential sources of contaminants, for example, excess nutrients, sediment, road salts, pathogens, etc., to our waterways. They can be used, the grants can be used for a variety of projects that result in the protection or improvement of the community's public drinking water supplies, such as school and stormwater structure, infrastructure, stream bank stabilization, agricultural best management practices, spill prevention, planning, and educational programming. The deadline is not until January, January 15th. But because of the whole approval and Board of Supervisors cycle, that's closer than it sounds. So what we need to do is field some ideas. We could do something pretty serious with up to $10,000. But we do need to be careful not to bite off more than we can chew. I went and looked at the Coleman property because it was suggested that they have this long pole barn, maybe a rain garden, maybe a rain barrel up the gutters from the pole barn. There is no gutter. And it didn't look like a very inviting site to me, but other people are welcome to go have a look. I think we could establish a committee tonight that will take on coming up with a draft of a proposal for something. So we could look at that again. There's also a hill down from there that goes into an area that could be a rain garden as well, because of the contours of the land. You can do a serious engineered rain garden for some serious money like that. So we would not dig, right? You'd get people to come in with equipment. Another idea somebody threw out was the back of the township building. Putting a rain barrel under a gutter back there. And having a demonstration, not building things, having a demonstration of how a rain garden going into, a gutter going into a rain barrel, or there are many versions of rain barrels. And I don't know because I would have to go back and look at it. These are just ideas. This is neophyte.
What about stream sides where they have paved there?
Right here where we're
Yeah, is
working
that-
already. Oh, back there.
Back.
Yeah.
When you go back and you make a left, like you're heading to downtown Chalfont.
Mhm.
They just paved it, but it's terribly close to the Neshaminy. It doesn't look like there's very many trees
That's
or
right
any
here.
kind of,
That's Chalfont Borough. That's not.
right behind the building here.
Mhm.
I'm sure Ken knows his own, so.
Well, I don't know if it's a Sullivan, account.
A committee.
To get
Small
some.
committee to go around and look at some things, brainstorm. Community education tied into this would be great. Back here, there's a pavilion, for example, if we did something here, we could say we would hold little community classes. That would be a goal, which we could do with the pavilion down by our garden too. Like get a scout troop in there or something. So I'm sure there are a lot of things, there are a lot of places that we need to think. Well, we need to think now so that we can get something started into the writing process and the drafting so that the Board of Supervisors could maybe pass it in December.
We only have one meeting December 9th. Then we have our reorganization meeting on January, I think it's the second or third, no, it's the following Monday. The first is what, a Wednesday, so it'll be like the 6th.
And that's.
Then that's what other towns I've been in, we conducted other business at those. I'm looking now to see if they've done that in the past. I'm calling up the website to. You either do all business or you don't do any business. It's one or the other. You just can't do a little. I'm just looking.
Sarah? Okay,
Okay,
all right,
I'm happy to support,
okay.
We do
You do.
business, yeah,
So what's the date of that?
whatever the first Monday in January is, yes. So 2 months from today.
I was afraid it was gonna have to be December 9th.
Yeah,
We want to do a good grant proposal, you
Right.
shouldn't do it that fast. Okay,
So the grant is due the application January 15th.
yes. We have-
so you'll want to have it to us the week before January 6th. We needed that. We'll need it by the 2nd. We would prefer the 31st. The
New
first,
Year's Eve,
well, we'll be here New Year's, well, we'll be here. Yeah, yeah, we're closed on New Year's Day. But we will be, yeah, we're open New Year's Eve. It gives us a chance to get everything with a packet all together and then get it out on Thursday the 2nd. Because we won't be here on Wednesday. The packets go out at noon on Thursday before the board meeting.
we have our next meeting, January, December 4th. And the question is, would we want to have, we will not have another meeting between then and the Board of Supervisors meeting, because that next Wednesday is January 1st. You see what I mean? About dates, yeah, and how this goes. So
We need a project by December 4th.
December 9th. Well, you just need, we don't really care about the project. You just need to tell us that we're going to be applying for the project. You just have to decide for your meeting on the 4th what it's going to be, and then you just get right up the grant. We'll get it for our January meeting. So you have a month to finalize your idea.
which is what we did. We
Right.
just have to have the basic idea.
Yeah.
We have to find a spot, we have to know what we want to do with it. The goals can be broad. We can go fully with the remediation, which is part of their grant, which is what we're doing already with those trees. Or we could go with something that has more of a community education element. So it's our world. Yeah, we can figure it out.
Did both of those satisfy the grant specs?
Yes.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
like 4 different things.
Yeah.
Green infrastructure, there's a lot of it.
So such as green stormwater infrastructure, stream bank stabilization, agricultural, spill prevention planning. I don't think we're doing that.
And hopefully you don't have people spilling.
So are you all planning on coming
educational
to the
programming.
tree planting on the 16th and 17th, one of those days? I mean, you could brainstorm, we could all brainstorm before then, and if you're coming to the tree planting while we're sitting there planting trees, we can talk about ideas. Just kind of informally.
I don't know if everybody is going to be able to make that.
Be there in time.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be here on but yeah. A lot of yeses out there
Yes, good.
on the 20th.
So
Yeah.
you all have the link, right?
You like the idea, should we apply for this grant?
Yes.
Yes. Somebody says, why don't you apply for a grant for almost 10,000? Okay. All right. It seems like that's all we do, but that's just me. Okay. All right, we're moving along. We agreed to do a spring event. I wanted to firm up the weekend on that. We started with a day in April, and ran up against a lot of conflicts, including Del Val's A Day. And so then we thought maybe early May, or whatever we want to do, whether it's a rain barrel demonstration, information session, which we could do right here. Or,
Stream cleanup,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Um. Okay,
So can I make a suggestion? Can we jump ahead on the agenda and talk about? There was a email today from Alex about identifying our
Yeah,
preferred
yeah.
meeting dates for 2025. I'm going to assume that Wednesday, the first Wednesday is what we all prefer.
that's what I was going to ask when I got to it, yes.
So we might want to, if we're gonna pick a weekend in May, have the weekend after our first meeting, so if there's any last minute preparations we need to discuss, we can do that at our meeting, then maybe the following weekend, which is
The weekend of Mother's
the
Day,
weekend of
Mother's
Mother's Day,
Day.
but
which is always a problem.
Yeah.
Ken knows, because
Lots
he
of
usually
plant-
tries to have tree plantings then, and he gets chastised.
Yeah.
just an observation.
There's a lot of plants.
There, besides our plan sale date yet.
I try to make it later than everybody else, so they come
I thought it
and
was.
see things they missed buying in other places. So, and you don't have to worry about weird weather, like having it get, believe it or not, cold. So
Mm,
the frost date, people are always in a hurry to buy in the spring, but it's a lot of work to keep things going. It's easier once,
But last year was the 19th, that was the last. day.
because we skipped ephemerals. We didn't even try to sell ephemerals.
There are lots of, there's so much
Skip right
going
over.
on.
I love them, but they're fleeting.
So we will never be able to avoid all conflicts.
That is true. So is there a thought as to what
So
you prefer?
the 3rd is a Saturday, the 10th is a Saturday, the 11th is Mother's Day.
May,
May.
Because we already had to cross out April because the conflicts were too dire.
Any day,
Can we
Passover.
come back to this on the
Easter.
20th?
We can,
Let's,
yeah, we can table it, but I do ask that you think about it and look as far as possible ahead at your calendars. Okay, tabling that.
activity, there's not an activity, type of activity plan.
No.
And
trying to find a date.
we're trying to get the community to know we exist.
Hey, it could be like if
I
the
just-
garden plants. If the garden plants were put in, it could be like a inauguration. Right? Like, they come see the garden,
Right, and stick a plant in the garden.
but even.
Yeah.
Plants per se,
Maybe.
I actually like that. That's a great idea. Because the kids will be playing ball. And,
At that point,
oh yeah.
yeah,
Sponsor the plan, you got one to bring home, one to. Or.
I think you should be running this.
I like that.
Where everyone. The water bottle. Water.
They're doing. Okay.
Just keep them.
That reminds me, we tried for templates. Lucy made a bold try, I made a childish try, and we don't have a template for a planting plan. We'll have to still figure that out. We have time. We don't know yet what the deal is gonna be on the soil and the water and the species, but tuck it in. I'm no garden designer. I know you have some experience. Yeah.
I'm the better drawing. I know, like, personally, the keynotes, but.
Well, I was.
We could just,
You
yeah,
can do it on your own.
yeah. Well, with some planning that morning, putting things where they belong, not just, yeah. Okay. All right, so we have tabled that, but at the same time, we've agreed to coordinate hey, coordinate it with the garden planting, which is a great idea. And, I like to sponsor a plant. I mean, you're cheap, couple, right?
Sponsor a plant for the swale or something. To be do.
Okay, well, I think Chapman sponsored a plan for the garden.
Yeah.
So that we're collecting a few bucks while we
Okay.
get people to plant the garden.
I mean, I'm new, but I can go buy
Okay.
some.
Yeah,
You could- sorry.
moving along.
You could, just one last thing, you could reach out to condos growers. Oftentimes they have leftovers at the end of the season.
But
They have funds
now you mean.
now.
More that I can put into my vegetable garden renting space for the spring.
1 year we got 300.
We don't want three.
Well, I'm just saying, you throw the rest away.
Don't say no, ever.
Never turn anything away.
It's worth asking.
I'm already healing.
I'll
in
be
the
talking to
plants
John.
for this garden.
That's right.
You know, John, he's not. Tell him what he's doing and he may move.
Yeah. Right. But I think most of us, part of the idea is that a lot of us have these plants in our gardens and we want to. So part of the idea is the community is actually giving of itself into the garden. But Kind Earth could certainly help us with some things. And we'd have to overwinter
I'm
that.
gonna be dealing.
But no, Ken means now. This year's leftovers.
Sometimes they have rights.
Yeah,
As leftovers.
yeah.
They can't sell, they're just gonna throw them.
But then they do need to be overwintered.
We need to be positive.
I know. Mine went into the raised bed vegetable gardens. My husband said, what? I said, they're just renters. They're just renters. They're leaving. Don't worry. All right. But still talking to them about a few things. And if anybody gets their hands on a loose spice bush, I have the clethra, but I don't have a spice bush, but they're so,
Oh, we can ask Jane Neal.
okay.
You need a spice bush for.
For the pollinator garden, just remember we
Spice
agreed
bush.
on a few shrubs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. They get
Something-
big.
Something,
Spice bush gets big.
not so huge though, right?
Depends on the growing. conditions.
Yes.
Well, it'll be full sun.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not that. They get big.
Or
Like the
we
red,
can-
like the red osier.
Okay, species can be. Figure it out, figure it out. We have a picnic. Okay, so informational. The Coleman, the property, the planting that we've been posting. The Coleman property is the property along the new Neshaminy Greenway Trail, which is on Upper State between Bristol and right before you get to the sewage treatment plant, but on the opposite side of the street from the sewage treatment plant. There's now a parking lot there and brand new trail. You can't miss it because it looks brand new with a lot of tractor marks on either side of it. So you know that's it. And then down the trail will be the planting on the 16th and the 17th of November. And then we just established another planting, which we'll do Wednesday, the 20th. So I think that's probably pretty good. Next, any comments, anything anybody wants to add in? Public comment on agenda items, Sam? Or anything else, or non-agenda item? And we just.
Do you want to talk about the open space survey results at all? We have just gotten them, and we haven't, no, I mean, just a quick summary.
You want to hear about the open space summary? Yeah, remember the survey that was sent out? So,
Oh, yeah, I didn't get my yes.
Share it. I got your email after I'll share it with and then everybody can talk about it. Yeah. I'll get at that. I saw it just as I was closing my eye.
Protect open space. You don't have to make it for us to come see it. We don't ever, we put, what, just protect. Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah. So that'll go on the December agenda. Okay. So do we want the first Wednesday? Are we agreed on that? Everybody's fine with the first Wednesday?
Yeah, it's been working fine.
We're good with it.
The only issue is gonna be January.
Well, I was going to say, do we want to skip the January meeting? No. Here, Lucy said, no.
January, could we potentially have the second Wednesday, just for Jan?
Let's see what's on the calendar.
We pushed a couple things into our December meeting. The one thing about a January meeting is to finalize the grant application that's due the 15th.
Correct.
So
You can have subcommittee meetings.
good. Yeah. We
We
can
get
circulate
around that.
things. This isn't like it's some official proposal. We can agree online. So we may or may not have a January meeting. It'll depend.
Which Wednesday? It's the Veterans Committee.
That's what I'm trying to find.
Okay.
Problem is, so the night the veterans meet, they meet actually in there because the VFW meets out here.
No,
And it's the second Wednesday.
Mhm.
So,
and it's New Year's Day. So,
Yeah, the first New Year's Day. I think we could manage not to have the January meeting and circulate the grant proposal.
But I think our first Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Other than that, the first Wednesday. So, Alex emailed, so you can tell her, and I'll reply to her emails.
Organization, and that's all the meetings, and we'll advertise them. And then, once it's advertised, if you cancel, so be it, or if you change it, so be it. But we just do the one blanket advertisement for everybody for the year. So.
Well, it won't be finished by then, but we'll have a plan by then. Yeah, roughed out. Yes.
You can circulate it amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Before it comes to us, I mean. You've already said do it, so.
the other, just. I was looking at the whole year, the other Wednesday that I believe is gonna be an issue might be October 1st. I'm not sure, Jamie.
No holiday.
October 4th is the second.
I don't know when the holiday.
It's always October.
October 2nd is Yom Kippur, so the night of the first meeting issue. Yes,
Maybe, depends what.
just a heads
Okay,
up.
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't.
Yeah.
Right, but just,
Look, because it doesn't come up on Google when it is, so on the Google Calendar, it doesn't have to do it all.
You go with.
Yeah.
Paper.
All right,
Are we done?
I think we're done. I think that is my motion to adjourn. Okay, second,
Yeah.
all in favor? Okay.